we've got here our native, or one of the species of native stingless bees that we have in Australia. They absolutely love the sap off these jackfruit trees. I was talking to an expert in native bees. Apparently they use the sap as building materials for their nests. It's not always easy to see, but quite often, I'm going to say around their knees, like at the joint of the back legs, you'll see little white blobs where they're gathering all part of the sap and carrying it off. So it's cool that they're making use of the sap from these trees. Hey folks, the plan of attack was to get all of these trellised jackfruits pruned and bring down the height, and you can see that branch there suckering up. They really do go crazy. Plan was to get the height down on all of these, open them up. But the weather gods say that we have quite a bit of rain coming in over the next few days, so we're going to have to clear all the pruning, get that chipped into the interrow onto the soil to protect the soil, etc. And it can break down in there. When you chip the green leaves, green foliage, it kind of, because of the moisture, it's got weight and it will settle in the interrow. When the leaves get dry and light, they chip and they just fly everywhere, and yeah, it doesn't quite cover the ground the same. So the plan is to get this chipped, and then we'll see how I go on in terms of weather. If I've got decent weather, then I'll carry on pruning these jackfruit trees because of the battery pruner, and you're certainly not going to hand prune growth that's 20, 30, 40 centimetres in diameter. If it is raining, then it'll still be pruning, but I'll move on to the canistels where I can do that with ordinary hand secauteurs. I also need to try and get out and put some fertiliser on those durian trees that have got fruit on. Because of the heavy rain that we had, sort of the 10 days before New Year and for a few days after, we had, I think it's around 500 mils, so half a metre of rain, and some of the trees dropped the fruit, but they've started to flower again, so who knows, we might get it, we might not. That's why, yes, we're going to plant half a dozen trees just for ourselves or friends, for a novelty thing, but yeah, not interested in having heaps and heaps of them. It's not really a viable commercial crop. You know, you can put down plastic and all these other things, but then you've got to bear in mind you're trying to cover them with plastic or whatever to stop the trees from getting too wet, but the heat under that plastic is phenomenal. I think it was recorded one year as when it was done as a trial at 72 degrees centigrade. Man, that was hot, and boy did the tops of the trees suffer. But also you've got to bear in mind you're putting that infrastructure up in the cyclone season, so spend all that time putting it up, and if there's a prediction of a cyclone, do you take it down or do you risk it and leave it up? And if the wind gets hold of it, if a cyclone did come in, it would just, if you got around your trees, it would rip your trees to pieces. Right, before I take this branch out, I'll just show you what we found was our issue with the horizontal branches. I don't know if it happens with every type of tree, but for us it happened with the soursops, the canistels, here the jackfruits, the durians, in that because they don't like a horizontal branch due to the fact that they're an evergreen and don't like the harsh sun, you get these vertical. We've got over there, there's 1, 2 developing, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and tallest one is probably 3 meters. And we take these off and they'll be back in a month or so. Now, yes, like if you're pruning a tree, naturally trees want to grow and you're always going to be pruning. But this is just one branch. One single branch has got 7 suckers coming off, and they take so much energy out of the tree and out of you. Because, yeah, it's just too much for us. So, yeah, this horizontal branch will come out. This is on one of the trellis trees. Kind of try and reshape it. It's not going to be ideal. Probably won't be overly successful, but if it just tides us over for maybe 2 years till the rest of the paddock's done. Well, I made a mad dash for it. Oh crap. 1 minute it was just grey and overcast. The next minute it was a torrential downpour. Then the wind came and the rain was sideways. Now thunder, lightning, and I feel that the rain set in. So I'm rained off. Out to check the rain gauge again, and it looks fairly significant. So that's 25. 50. 75. 76. 76 millimeters. That's bringing us up to, we've probably had about 400 or 500 mils in the last week to 10 days. When it's raining this much and the ground is so wet, I tend to use these, they're commonly referred to as rock hoppers. So they've got little studs in the soles here so you don't slip, made of neoprene, because everything takes so long to dry out. I have a t-shirt, I have beach board shorts, so, and I have what they call rock hoppers that a lot of fishermen that fish off the rocks on the seashore will use, so that they don't slip, gives them better grip. So basically I'm dressed more for the beach than I am for on the farm. But to use ordinary work clothes, they just take so long to dry out. I've only got probably about another 40 jackfruit trees to finish, but because of the rain, I don't want the battery pruners getting destroyed. Pretty expensive, and a lot of the wood that I'm cutting on the jackfruit trees is probably 30, 40 mils in diameter, so not easy to cut through that with ordinary hand secateurs. Oh god, there he goes. So I'm stopping off that for a second, or for a few days. I think we've got this rain for a few days. Here he is, nut job. And yeah, moving on to the Canistel. As you can see, there's a lot of fruit here, so I'll thin some of this out, because as it grows, these two here, for instance, let me turn around, will end up touching one another, and then it just marks the skin. We'll thin them out so that they're nicely spaced, and it also helps with fruit size as well. All right, not going to be able to really film any of this as such, because if the rain comes in, I'll take the phone back up, but it's just going to be a matter of just can't see down the middle at all, so I've got to open that up, and it'll be the long vigorous shoots that I'll be taking off. Open this up, I'll go all down the middle, then down the outside, and then the top, because it's just powered up. It's, I'm going to say some of them are probably a good 1.5 meters above the top wire, which is way too high. But that's the thing with the tropical fruit trees. That's why so many of the different types of tropical fruit trees don't really adapt to the trellising. I mean, these are kind of relatively slow growing, but even in saying that, way high. I've had a bit of a run down the middle there. As you can see, we opened it up somewhat. Still got the tops to do, so that will be the next job, is to go on the top and along the outside, removing what needs to be. And as we go along, but when pruning anything, we really don't worry about cutting fruit off, because it's just a form of thinning out. And where we have clusters anyway, we will go along and remove some of them. I'll just leave one, otherwise these will end up being touching one another, and that'll mark the fruit. And in terms of removing fruit, prefer to have, say, like 100 good sized fruit than 1,000 small fruit, and at the end of the day the total weight would be the same, or pretty close to. Quite a bit of height above the top wire. We won't leave any fruit at all, even though there's plenty above that top wire. We won't leave any at all for two reasons. One, it slows us down picking, because then we need to get some steps or something. And also, if the fruit that's high up doesn't have enough foliage protecting it, it'll get sunburnt anyway, so then it's no good. So we might as well just remove all of that, just leave what's easily reachable. See how vigorous some of them get. This, probably over 1 meter long. Flowering again. So where are we? We're January, probably around June time, which would be a nice little winter crop, that one. And if you've thinned out some of the fruit anyway, then you're not sapping the tree of energy completely. When we finish the pruning, we'll go through again, just check that there's no clusters of fruit, such as there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 altogether. I'll just leave one. and then we'll have one good sized one, I don't know, probably 400 grams or something, rather than 5 at 70 grams or whatever it might be. And that makes packing easier as well and quicker. We pack just either 20 to a box or 16 to a box. And I'll thin the ones closest to the tip, because the further out the more weight it'll pull it down. So thin those far ones out. This case here, I'd leave the one at the bottom, because that'll be protected better by the foliage. Less risk of sunburn. Have to be careful with these shoes that I'm wearing, these rock hoppers with the little metal barbs at the bottom, because stand on the irrigation pipe down here and possibly you could end up putting holes in your pipe. Not good. Hey ho, let's go, carry on. So just going round and thinning out the fruit. So that's it for this week. Thank you everybody for sharing your thoughts and commenting, and catch you again next week. So I'll just leave you with a short video of presents that I've got for my birthday. So what we've got here, hello Stumpy. Okay mate, it's my birthday presents. I've got a waterproof hat. Very nice. What I'm hearing is, don't let the rain stop you from working. And here I've got a bench. Well, this is so that I can sit down when I'm putting my boots and stuff on. So again, I'm hearing get out there and work. These are the instructions. Then don't bother with instructions. We wing it, don't we? Ta-da! I have my own little platform where I put my boots on and take them off. And apparently, off this fella, how cool is this? It's not a jackfruit, it's a cushion. Stumpy tells me that they do all sorts of different fruit, bananas and whatnot, but this is a jackfruit. Quite good. Even got the little brown flecks on it. And
that's what Stumpy bought you for your birthday.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't chew it up like he chews everything else.
There you go. Happy birthday to you.
29 again.
In your dream.